RI, au nom du peuple gabonais et garante de la protection des institutions, avons décidé de défendre la paix.
All right, just before we wrap up this program here on RT International, a quick reminder of our breaking news this Wednesday morning at 8:30 a.m. local time here in Moscow. Are we potentially seeing another coup in Africa? The military in Gabon has announced on national TV it has annulled the results of the weekend's election.
Let me use this opportunity to advise us who are politicians and those of us who are in the security services that while we are doing the job we are meant to do, let us not, because the judiciary is very conservative, try to blackmail them or squeeze them. Sometimes when we have political powers, we get blinded. They say sometimes your wisdom is consumed with confidence. When we bear the big name, president, governor, all the speakers and so on, we become so blinded, especially even in the security services. When you're holding certain positions, become so blinded, but society is changing. And we must learn, we must admonish ourselves. And civil society is becoming very, very active. And certain things that probably we do and get away with it, we may not get away with it tomorrow.
Quite heartbreaking. Very, very, very heartbreaking. 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 Another military coup in Africa, and this time from the Central African country of Gabon. I think one of my earliest political sensitization videos was done on the nation of Gabon several years ago. I'll go and check, and then if I could find it, I would I'll pin it in the comment section so you can see. I was really displeased, and then that's the video of the Gabonese, the now ousted Gabonese president Ali Bongo, right, who was physically fit, and while just like what I said a couple of days ago, the West would continue to align with ailing, sick, weak, lack of integrity, lack of transparency, and unfit African leaders, because that's the only way they can continue to exploit the opportunities and their businesses here. And I've said it. If for any reason you went to school and you studied international relations, studies, political science, public administration, history, and a couple of, you understand that the West never does business that doesn't benefit them, right? And that's why we are scared of the alliances being entered from this current president now to a lot of these Western countries. That being said, one of the videos you saw there, you saw Goodluck Jonathan, former president of Nigeria, cautioning, advising politicians about an impending danger. And he went on to make a scenario of what happened in an African country, of how the country was bullied to a standstill until the military took over, by young people who were arrested. And then I'll allow you to see that video. And then it goes to show that something huge is happening in Africa. I am not a fan of military coup, and I've established that. You cannot have had understanding of what has happened in coup. The fact that the constitution is suspended, there's no rule of law, there's no separation of power, there's no freedom, the rights of the people are suspended, and the military determine what happens. They just like what happened in Niger now. They say they want to have a 3 years transitional program as against the constitution, and maybe, of course, but of course we cannot ignore the remote causes: unaccountability, irresponsibility, political executive recklessness, abuse of power. You see what Ali Bongo did? You want to have an election? You suspended all institutions because of the election. You made a midnight curfew. Of course, you restricted the use of internet for the period. Was that not exactly what we experienced in Nigeria? Every other elections had free passage to the annex server, but the presidential election couldn't. This is it. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government will literally begin to put hold and create an Ali Bongo electoral style. I'm not calling for military intervention, but I'm saying that Nigeria politicians will begin to learn from this nonsense happening in Africa. I know, of course, some of you have got international diplomatic passport. You can fly to this country all the time, but not all your family member can. That's why we must do the right thing. I want you to watch this video and share this video. It is a call to duty. African leaders must stand up. Nigerian politicians must stand up. Jonathan, you may not like Goodluck Jonathan. He's not the best of president that has ruled this country, but in sincerity, he's one of the most sincere leaders I've ever had in this country. Very sincere to a fault, and then he says it the way it is. Whether whose horse is God is really not his problem. Let's watch it and let's share this video. Unfortunate incidents in Gabon, but what are the lessons that we should learn? That's what we should be looking at for. I want to hear your comment. I want to read comments and say, what are the things that we should start to do? I don't like military interventions in governance, but I think we can start to correct some of the things that we are not doing right and all that. Some people are saying the judiciary can help to restore that level of sanity back. Some people are saying that politicians should begin to imagine staying in power for 56 years. Your father was in power for 42, and you have been in power since 2009. What do you? And look at how he's sick. See, he's shaking. He's shaking. He's literally shaking. He cannot move. He cannot talk. There was a particular video of his. I can't lay my hands on it now, where he was sleeping. His aide has to go and start telling him what, and it was in a panel. Yet he has to close down the country for him to achieve his third term bid. I don't know what I want to talk. I'm gonna share this video, maybe people see. Talk to you guys later.
All right, just before we wrap up this program here on RT International, a quick reminder of our breaking news this Wednesday morning at 8:30 a.m. local time here in Moscow. Are we potentially seeing another coup in Africa? The military in Gabon has announced on national TV it has annulled the results of the weekend's election. It also claims it's deposed the newly re-elected president, who was only announced as the victor on Wednesday with 64% of the vote. The situation with elections was difficult. A curfew was imposed on Saturday. Internet access was cut off, and authorities suspended the broadcasting of a couple of French media outlets, just as the coup leaders did the same in Niger. Local media is reporting claims of gunfire being heard in the capital. The military has also announced the country's borders will be remained closed until further notice. We'll give you more updates the moment we get them here at RT International. Well, all eyes on Africa these days, an awful lot going on, whether it's Gabon or Niger or Mali, Burkina Faso.
Let me use this opportunity to advise us who are politicians and those of us who are in the security services that while we are doing the job we are meant to do, let us not, because the judiciary is very conservative, try to blackmail them or squeeze them. Sometimes when we have political powers, we get blinded. They say sometimes your wisdom is consumed with confidence. When we bear the big name, president, governor, all the speakers and so on, we become so blinded, especially even in the security services. When you're holding certain positions, become so blinded, but society is changing. And we must learn, we must admonish ourselves. And civil society is becoming very, very active. And certain things that probably we do and get away with it, we may not get away with it tomorrow. If we take laws into our hands and try to squeeze society, young people will react. It happens when I was a president in a sister country, Burkina Faso, where by their law, if the president is not there because they have no vice president, it's the speaker of the parliament that will take over the country and manage the country. The president wanted to amend the constitution so you go for a third tenure. And from the thinking of society, the parliament was compromised, so the speaker was to do it. The young people in Burkina Faso, the civil society, they mobilized and moved in to the parliament to kill the speaker. The security people couldn't defend it. The speaker has to run away. They burned down the parliament, the national parliament of that country. The mob moved into the state house to attack the president. The president defense squad that was even stronger than national army couldn't stop the mass movement. Otherwise, you kill everybody. The president has to run to Cote d'Ivoire. The country was in a quagmire. Their constitution said the president is not there, the speaker. Now the president ran away, the speaker ran away. Nobody to take over power. The military have to step in. So we, the politicians, and those of us who are holding sensitive security positions should know that society is changing so much and that we should do everything based on the rule of law.